Hi, I'm Brand, and I love Ride.
I'm Ryan, and sure, I like Ride. Yeah.
I'm Dan. Sure, I hate Ride altogether. This is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
You know the worst part of the ride, the horse head that I've committed to for the Ride episodes on Philo.TV/DTH. It's just the overall comfort of it all.
Yeah, I would consider that to be the worst. I couldn't imagine anything else. Couldn't be the ridicule.
No, but there's lots of perks. No ridicule.
Can I
thrive off of ridicule.
Can I tell you this? I shouldn't have said hate in the intro. We try to stay away from that word.
We do.
It was strong. What I'm trying to say is it's my least favorite 42 minutes of every week. That's all I'm trying to say.
What you're trying to say is you hate it. Yeah.
Yeah. But in the nicest, I don't want to say it because people worked on it.
And you've actually been committed to doing an experiment where you punch yourself in the head for 42 straight minutes throughout the week. And this you still hate, you dislike worse.
This week, yes, this was still.
It is a weird experiment you've committed to.
That's right.
Who is that for?
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Mr. Beast.
He's going to give you a lot of money?
A lot of money. That's why I'm doing it. Yeah.
I think it's more of a Carl thing.
We're wealthy.
Yeah.
We're wealthy anyway doing this.
Yes.
We
don't need
a
Mr.
bunch
Beast
of
money.
When you make the first million, as you've, at that point, it's all kind of.
Yeah. We have our own chocolate bar coming out too. It's going to be available.
Snackers.
So it's going to be available everywhere. It's very exciting. Ryan, somebody's looking older over there.
Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you very much. It was my birthday on Saturday. I had a nice several days of activities. It was lovely. I can't complain. No complaint.
You got a fresh cut too, it looks like.
Yeah, shout outs to Gus the barber. He hooked me up. I don't know how many more years I can pull off this cut, but I think it's at least one or two. So
lines look good. Lines look good. No, I know what he's saying.
Yeah. I worry more about, as you know, I'm approaching my mid-30s. How much longer can I do the boyish charm thing into my 30s? Because that's my whole shtick, not just on the airwaves, but in life.
Ryan, you're buying Power Rangers VHS tapes.
You're in Power Rangers stuff this weekend. It was great. It was awesome.
I do want to talk about the new Power Rangers movie in just a second. But did you happen to listen to our interview with Aaron Cahill, who was a Pink Ranger in the early 2000s?
Oh, Aaron Cahill was one of the most beloved figures in Power Ranger history. I caught portions of it. I thought y'all did a great job with her. She's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We knew a lot about her.
Of course we did. We knew about that.
Yeah.
We should have had you come on and talk about Power Ranger stuff.
Would have been better.
All right. Give us the quick 411 about this movie.
It was great. It's weird because it's 55 minutes. I guess it's a short film, not really an episode.
It's only 55 minutes.
Under an hour is a short film. That's right.
A very snackable piece of content. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's as Power Ranger-y as it can be, which I think is a good thing, but also depending on who's watching it, might be a bad thing. But very true to the show, aged up for old farts like me who have grown up with it. Got misty a few times. Everything I could have asked for. I loved it.
Got missy a few times. Did they throw some naughty words in there?
No. They were like, Netflix, thanks, but no thanks on that. They don't like that Dan said hate a minute ago, quite frankly, the Power Rangers.
That's fair. Was that part of the birthday festivities? You got a bunch of people together and you're like, we're watching Power Rangers.
Dan, I'm glad you asked. That dropped on Wednesday. My birthday was on Saturday. Wednesday night, primetime Power Ranger Netflix viewing kicked off the weekend of festivities. So it lined up very perfectly. Yeah.
But I will say the highlight of your birthday must have been looking through the That Greenville book that you got to help you plan.
Did someone send that to you?
My girlfriend and I are coming to Bramblefest. We can confirm that here now, officially. But on the That Greenville site, they're like, we'll send you a free planning guide. And I got to say, that website of theirs is so immense. I was like, I need the planning guide, because there's just so many tabs on tab. Very easy to navigate, but I'm a brick and mortar. I'm a pen and paper kind of guy,
Yeah, you're a record in front of a brick wall kind of guy. We have a ton of those tour guide things in our storage room over there. I'm thrilled that they sent you one.
It's coming.
It's coming. I can't believe we announced this.
I had my first Bramblefest related dream over the past week. So
they're starting
coming up. It's coming up. I had a dream that I forgot to book anybody.
Wow.
Like any of the guests that we've kind of been talking about behind the scenes.
Well, you don't know. Everyone's travel is booked on my end.
Yes. No. I meant as in the people we've talked about also.
Yes. Yeah.
I just didn't follow up with them. We had planned to bring them, and I didn't follow up with them.
Of course.
So I followed up with them today.
You followed up with them.
Hey, how are we looking?
That's good. Maybe the dream was good that you had it.
No, my dreams are always helpful unless they're my normal dreams, which is just me doing very boring tasks.
Always wearing a horse head.
I'm always no. Does anybody else? Is this anyone else where their dreams are just you doing things
menial tasks?
Yeah, like shopping.
I mean, I have that for sure. For sure. Yeah.
I got to be honest. I normally don't remember my dreams, but have you seen Breakaway Honda on Woodruff Road? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course I know Breakaway Honda.
Breakaway Honda is no longer Breakaway Honda.
Right.
It's now Fred Anderson Honda.
Boo! Ruin a good thing.
They ripped down all this big signage, and there's this little tiny sign that just says Fred Anderson. And I had a dream last week where every dealership became Fred Anderson.
Oh, that's hell.
I don't know why.
What you're dreaming is hell.
Driving down the motor mile of Lawrence Road, be like, Fred Anderson Subaru, Fred Anderson Ford, Fred Anderson Mazda, Fred Anderson BMW. Who's this Fred Anderson guy?
Screw that guy.
Right? Coming for you, Fred Anderson.
We're coming for you, Fred.
I tell you.
God, the worst.
Should we buy a dealership and just call it Deck the Hallmark?
Oh, we should.
Deck the Hallmark.
We are rich, but I don't know if we have that kind of money.
There can be a nice little nook where we sell VHSs in the dealership. Could be fun.
Yes, we do.
We're talking about Ride, Season 1, Episode 5. This is the halfway point of Season 1.
Already.
It's gone by so quick.
It is called When It Rains, Ellipses. When It Rains, Ellipses.
Yeah.
April 23rd, 2023 is when it premiered, and it went a little something like this. Missy and Cash are heading to a Frontier sponsored barbecue. Cash is not thrilled by this, seeing as how he did not get an invite. But Missy thinks it'll be good for Cash to come on by, stay on JB's radar, because money. But then Cash finds out that Hudson Cooper, his rival, is going to be there. We've heard about Hudson before.
Yeah.
Tough tries to apologize to V for what happened last episode, but V isn't having it. But they can't afford to argue for long because the rain is coming, and they got to get that
rains, ellipses.
They got to get that hay inside.
Mm-hmm.
So Isabel is preparing for dinner, and the mayor comes in, as he does, and says, "Hey, I've got good news." Hank tells her that he has found a location to build a real nice rodeo stadium for the town. I thought they already had one.
Me too.
There's just one thing missing. Money. Money is missing. But he thinks that there's plenty of money out there because the world's a-changing. I don't know what that means. Missy and Cash show up at the barbecue, and Cash goes to say hi to JB and tells him that he's hoping to impress him at the next ride. And before they can chat any further, stupid Hudson comes up and is like, "Hey, JB, my guy." And they get into a conversation. So Missy finally convinces him to go back up and talk to JB. And she's like, "I'll distract stupid Duncan." And so she grabs his hand and pulls him towards JB. And while that's happening, a redhead girl looks on and the guitar strums. So you know it's pretty serious, whoever this person is. He ends up just criticizing JB's grilling technique and reminds JB that he served in our military. Isabel is annoyed. Hank keeps pushing the new ranch because she can't even afford to lose hay during a rainstorm. So he's like, "Hey, how about you just open a museum for your dead kid and your dead husband?" The redhead girl comes up and asks Missy how long she and Cash have been together. She's like, "We're not together." And so Missy follows her and is like, "I remember you from past parties. How'd you know my husband?" And she's like, "You don't want to know." So that bothers her. Cash finds out that her name is Polly, and Polly's from the Rodeo Riders organization. I don't know if that's an important bit of information, but I did want to include it in case it is.
The Rodeo Riders
the Rodeo Riders
Could come
Organization.
The RRO.
You never know. V is annoyed that pretty boy Gus was able to fix a wagon and not her. V and tough talk, and she opens
Gus
up.
fixed the wagon. Valeria couldn't. He didn't fix her.
Yeah, didn't I say what?
Yeah.
Gus was able to fix a wagon and not her. I see how you got that.
Yeah.
She's mad that she couldn't. V and tough talk, and she opened up about how she lost her mom when she was young and that this family was the family she needed, and tough comforts her. Go, I guess all that's good now. Missy and Cash talk in the truck, and she says that she thinks Austin cheated on her with Polly. She comes to that conclusion quite quickly. He is like, yeah, I don't know about that, although towards the end of his life, there was something I felt like he was holding back, but I never found out what it was. Could be anything. They go to eat dinner, and Missy says that she's not going to stay because she's tired. Gus goes after her, and Cash tries to stop her, and it gets a bit heated. So Gus is like, I'm just going to leave before things get too crazy. But Cash decides to follow him outside, which is exactly what Cash is trying to stop Gus from doing to Missy, if you recall. And he tells Gus to stop trying to fix their problems. We were just fine before you showed up, and they end up fist fighting. It's a fist fight. V ends up breaking them up. Isabel tells Hank that she's ready to partner together and that she'd be willing to sell her soul to save the ranch. Cash tells V that he's never going to be enough. And she's like, you're more than enough. And they hug. And then Missy goes and yells at a bull. And Isabel looks at her. So I'm sure she's fine. And that, my friends, was Ride Season 1.
Episode 1.
Ellipses. We did it.
We did, everybody. Congratulations. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to break this episode down with 4 segments here on Deck the Hard. Welcome back, everybody.
Ryan's pumped going into that break. If you're watching on Philo, he was our hype man there.
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk. My guys, my leg's cramping up here. I'm like Jordan with the flu right now. This is going to be tough to get through. Oof.
I think this is going to be your best hot take.
Oh, I feel it. I feel it.
It's hot take time. I'm going to go to Ryan. Ryan, I know you're cramping up.
I need some icy hot takes at the moment. We're Shaq. So
I need some icy hot takes. Nicely done.
Thank you. I can use my words every now and again. We started with melodrama right off rip in this episode, and that's when I began to worry. So I began to worry 30 seconds in, because anytime this show does melodrama, it kind of stinks. It then seemed like the setup was going to be another party planning episode, which would have been 3 party planning episodes in 3 weeks. Instead, it was the Hey Can't Get Wet episode, excuse me. And I couldn't believe that a TV show was asking me to care about this. I genuinely was flabbergasted. And then you know what happened? Other than anything involving Gus, which I'll get to, I, not surprisingly, did not care about anything for the remainder of the hour. McMurray Museum, didn't care. Missy getting into a fight sort of at a party and then with a bull, didn't care. Nancy Travis crying about cabbage, I did not care. I'll talk more about Gus and Cash having WrestleMania and all the feels. That was a highlight of the year and a highlight of my life, quite frankly. And then the Missy yelling at the bull, like I said, that was a choice. I'm sure you two will talk about it. Ultimately, here is what I want to say to Ride. I gave you 5 weeks. I really put myself out there last week. The guy with the horse head on was over it, and I was like, no, I'm giving this show a chance. You have let me down. I do not care about what's happening. I don't think I can be brought back unless Gus keeps punching people in the face. Thank you for the consideration. Brand.
Nice. Man, look, when they make The Last Dance, but about Ryan on our show, or The Last Deck, as they'll probably call it, that'll be a moment. Yeah. That'll maybe a whole episode.
I can't feel my knee. Everything's fine, though. But
there was someone during the break, and I won't say who, that was talking trash about you. So it did motivate you.
That's right.
It did help you turn on that extra oomph with the hot take.
It was producer Aaron.
What? Sorry.
I know. It's tough. Yeah, this is tough.
Isn't it though?
I think the main
I'm
part
Brian. I wear a horse head and I love ride. Yeehaw!
to Ryan's point, this is an episode where we may lose the hay. And that's really the it here. There were some elements like that I did like. The punch, wonderful. The like, Missy and Polly, are they gonna fight? Like, I would have liked another fight. So like, there were some things here. Like when we start fighting, like I get a little into that. But aside from that, we are just talking about hay. We're talking about moving hay. And so that's disappointing overall. Give me more fighting, give me less hay, and we'll be going in the right direction. But I am worried we're going to get somehow more hay. Dan?
I would say that what happened here was they had a fight with Cash and Gus, and they said, let's start there and work our way back to the most boring episode in the history of television. And let's challenge ourselves. Let's push ourselves. Let's see. Look, don't take mediocre for an answer. Let's see if we can end with that fight, and let's work our way back and see if we can. What could be like? Could we have an engaging episode where there's more Cash and Gus and there's more? No, what we can have is the most boring episode of television, and then we'll just throw a fight in there, hope it covers a multitude of sins. Yellowstone did this year when Piper Parabo's character and Beth Dutton fight in an episode that otherwise has nothing going on, and it was still way better than what this is. This is bad, guys. Hey, the rain might hit the hay and make it less valuable to them to the tune of 20 large. That's it. And there's a tractor that no one has bothered to try to fix. No one's bothered to try to fix it because there's no way it would rain when the hay has been baled. That would be stupid. I hated it. It's so bad.
It's time for all the feels. Ryan.
Dan, that was beautiful. I wanted
no, so let's keep it in perspective.
Yeah, that's fair. I wanted Gus to beat the freaking brakes off of Cash, man. Like I watched this. I usually watch these episodes the night before we record. Scheduling with my birthday, yada yada yada. I had to watch it the morning of today, and it's like 9 a.m, and I didn't care about a stinking thing that was going on. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I don't even think the show wants me rooting for Gus. I think they want me like, man, this Cash guy, he's had a tough go of things. He's been in combat. He's riding bullet. I'm supposed to be on his side. I wanted Gus to demolish this guy.
That's right.
All of a sudden, I am cheering. I am up. It was beautiful. I don't think that's how I'm supposed to feel, but that is how I feel. Gus is an allegory for all of us watching this show, and he was taking out his frustrations on the first 5 episodes. Give me more of that to Brand's. Thank you.
So there is a scene where we get a lot of moving hay, but set to an absolute banger. Good old Bad Days by Aaron Goodvin.
Yeah.
Shout out. A banging song that they got the rights to so they could put it on top of a failing moving hay. But the song was great.
It is.
Dan?
Yeah, you took mine, Brand.
Really?
The reason mine is not the fight is because the fight felt so forced, like out of nowhere. Like it was not earned at all to me. Like, did I want to see it? Yes. Am I with Ryan that I wanted Gus to just kick the living crap out of Cash? Yes. Yes, I am.
Are we supposed to?
Are we supposed to be pulling for Cash there?
That is confusing. I don't know where the show wants us
I was pulling for Gus, but it felt forced. It didn't feel earned.
I don't know anybody who's cheering for Cash.
However, there is a scene where they're moving hay set to country music.
That's great.
That I was like, yeah, I would put this on in the background. You know, when YouTube goes to those, like, stay tuned for a minute of Zen, YouTube TV, before they send you back to the live sports action. Yeah, I would skip the ads to watch that moment of Zen. Absolutely, I would. That's as good as it got. As good as it got was a moving hay in I want to be clear, a cloudless sky, like not a cloud anywhere in sight, but that rain's coming. And doing it to country music was the best this episode had to offer.
It made me want to get out there and move my hay if I had any.
If you had any, that's right.
Hay.
You want to go out there and mow my lawn?
If you had any.
I do have lawn, and I do need to mow it. Okay. So
I mowed mine this week.
Maybe I'll put.
Now I'm making you look bad.
My old bad days in the AirPods and get to work. You know.
That's right. Good old bad days. Let's take one more quick break. We'll come back and we'll break this episode down just a little bit more here on Deck the Hallmark. Welcome back.
I was mid yawn and you caught me.
I didn't mean to.
I was like, no, Mark.
I didn't mean to.
Nothing I could do.
Guys, we're talking about Ride, a show that I am confident that you're watching on Philo and then watching us talk about it on Philo. Let's do this. Let's do Wait What. Can I throw that out there? Okay. Do a little something crazy here and go to Wait What. I'm gonna kick it to you, Ryan. Ryan, what in this episode made you go Wait What?
So I have too many, so I'm going to be judicious and just kind of cherry pick which ones I think make the most sense. But Dan, to piggyback off what you said before the break, clear skies, but also, how did no one know this rain was coming until the day of? There's apps, there's Google. You had a 7-day forecast. The 7-day forecast was invented decades and decades ago.
Ryan,
in this line of work, you would know it was coming.
But Ryan, sometimes the Dopplers lie. That is a sentence that is said at the beginning of this episode.
The Doppler slander in this episode is egregious.
The Dopplers we're calling multiple Dopplers. We're calling for clear skies. And Nancy Travis has a feeling and says sometimes the Dopplers lie. That is where we are in Ride.
Dopplers don't tell the future.
No, they're not all knowing. But that leads to my next one here perfectly. It must rain every now and again. They deserve to lose the ranch. Like, yes. I mean, if it hasn't rained since Austin died or since Nancy Travis's husband's died. I just don't understand. I'm sorry. I know I've been worked up. I got to calm down. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense to me, though. Nancy Travis's grand idea in the days of yore with this, when they had the old rodeo stadium, the guy was like, remember when you had that great idea? It was a gift shop. As if Nancy Travis was the first person to ever conceive the concept of putting a bull riding keychain out to the world. That annoyed me. Yeah. that annoyed me. What do I got here? So they start putting tarps on the hay. And I, to myself, go, oh, problem solved. And then Tough comes in and he goes, we don't have enough tarps. Well, just go buy more tarps. Okay. And then Tough says that he tried to bring up to V 100 times over that she had the fake IDs. That's unequivocally false. He maybe half-heartedly tried once. That irritated me.
That was a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's there was other things. That's it. I'm sorry. I'll be better in the Ride or Die. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. My last one is in my notes I titled this Ride episode 6, and I realized that it's episode 5, and now I'm mad at myself.
Man,
that was false hope. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Brand, the floor is yours.
So Cash is talking to JB and he decides I need to remind him that I was in the military. So the way that I'm going to do this is by
burger flipping,
critiquing his burger flipping technique and also letting him know that while he was fighting for our country, he was working on one heck of a grilling theory. What? Hey, when I was in the military, I came up with a pretty real good grilling theory. Those two things aren't related
at all.
You're just trying to slip in some fun fact about yourself while also letting you know that I had a ton of downtime when I was in the military. And I actually have scientific proof that if you flip it every 15 seconds, it cuts back on grilling by 2 minutes. Cool guy. Speaking of cash, at one
That
point,
was so much better with the horse head too.
speaking of cash, at one point, he talks about grilling. And no, I'm sorry.
You've already done that one. You've already done that one, buddy.
He talks about training, and he says, and they're like, you're doing your training on Bullet. And he says, sometimes it feels like Bullet is training me. And I think he thought that was going to be some sort of like big, like philosophical thing. But also, yeah, that's what happens. You get on a bull and the bull trains you. You're on a bull and you're like, all right, yeah, I'm learning how to do this thing.
That's how that works.
It's not like you're teaching the bull a lesson. The bull's teaching you a lesson, which is what they said. My last one is this. There is a wild storm coming, an insane storm coming. And so they decide, what if we had dinner?
There it is. Here it is. It's the biggest one.
In the barn.
Now,
So that wherever either you're coming or you're going, you're getting freaking drenched. Do we have a house? Do you know how we made the food
Do
in?
you know how we eat dinner in the house every single week?
What if we don't?
You know it's going to be a deluge outside, right? Since it's going to be a monsoon, hear me out. What if, you know how the barn has egress on both sides with no big doors? You know, what if we set up a few tables and tablecloths in there and just see where the wind takes us? What
Literally.
If we do, yeah. Oh my gosh. That's one of the most colossally dumb things I've seen on television in a long time. They eat dinner inside every week. Every week. The 1 week it rains. Barn
No way to
time,
avoid
baby.
that. No way to avoid
There's nothing we could do.
You
guys- That's the ultimate wait what of this week.
It was
There's
open.
some big
It
ones.
was open and open.
Why can't we get more tarps closely behind it? That is just
I don't understand. Why would they even, Dan? Why would they even do that? As I wouldn't have thought, oh, they could go buy tarps. Why would they introduce the tarps just to say that this is not a practical solution to the problem? Oh, go ahead, Dan. Oh, I'm so mad.
the tough had $100 in a dream.
They're worried about losing 20 grand, but they can't drop $100 at Target to buy what looked like 15 more tarps.
That's right. That's all you had to do. It's
I'm
unbelievable.
lightheaded. Oh my God.
All right, I did have two more.
Yeah, go ahead.
One is no one in this show or who has made it has ever seen a Texas barbecue of any kind, way, shape, or form. It's embarrassing on so many levels. I'm not going to go any further into it. But you know what you did. And then lastly,
Who do you think you are? I am.
lastly, I cannot fathom how hard it is or how hard they have to work to get a former Marine whose brother has died any sort of exposure to be in the rodeo. I'm like, if this guy wants to be in the rodeo and his brother was a famous rodeoer and died and he was in the Marines, the articles and interviews would be lining up for this guy. Like, this guy is at the top of the list. No, it doesn't matter if he's any good or not. Let's just say he wants to give it a go. His brother, like, let's say Michael Jordan's brother was in the Marines and Michael Jordan died. And Michael Jordan's brother was like, I want to play basketball, but no one will give me an interview. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that world?
Dan, it's worse. Dan, it's worse. It's worse because he's talking to the magazine lady and she's aware of all of that. And
That's
then
right.
he gives the whole backstory, the whole preamble, and then he goes, man, a bull and you, it's like having a dance partner. And she goes, quote, now that's an article. She doesn't care at all about the fact that he has served his country and is related to the most famous bull rider this side of the Mississippi. She likes that he said it's like Dancing with the Stars with a bull. That's what the article is.
Legitimately, Dale Earnhardt Jr. as a Marine, nobody will write an article about him. Dale Earnhardt Jr. served our country, Semper Fi, a decade, and nothing.
Yeah.
He can't get nobody. NASCAR Weekly's like, won't touch it. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Can I ask you this? Has he told everybody about his grilling theory? He's been holding that back. He hasn't told everybody.
It's embarrassing, man. It's real bad.
It's time for Ride or Die. It's part of the show where we ride or die. Ryan?
My die is kind of what we were just talking about, which is like, what do we think they actually talk about in Rodeo Riders Weekly if they are given the only good story that could possibly be in the magazine? And they're like, nah, tell us more about how you ride and dance with the bull. So I don't understand how that publication, Entertainment Weekly, had to close its doors. Rodeo Riders Weekly is going strong, and that really feeds me because I was an avid Entertainment Weekly subscriber.
I was too, Ryan. I got it in every week, and then they went to bi-weekly and then monthly. I got the paper copy. Same.
And now it's gone, but this stupid publication still exists.
Yeah.
My only other ride was, again, Gus Punch and Cash was the only two things brought me joy. There's that, and then this is a much smaller moment, and I'm still not really sure if this is the rules of this segment, but Gus drives in. I don't even know where Gus lives, but he's like, I'm going to go help the McMurrays through this storm, even though he couldn't have possibly known that they were having an issue, but neither here nor there. Everyone's looking at him funny, and he's like, even I know rain's not good for hay. And it was that classic Gus delivery that's awful and beautiful. And this guy needs to make a Christmas movie, and that's all I got.
That line had a little extra something
A little
on it,
extra
too. A little extra
flair.
salt.
Maybe that would be a whole 4-page op-ed in Rodeo Riders Weekly.
Did you hear what Gus said and how he said it?
More on
if
that
only
on
we had a
page
former
10.
Marine who wanted to be a rodeo rider.
We live in a world where a rodeo publication and a rodeo show are thriving. What a world. What a world.
Crushing.
My ride, once again, no tattoo guy this week.
Give it up.
We're at 3 scenes with no talking, and I hate that. Yeah. Dan?
My die is Valeria and the only good storyline being officially dead, as she explains to Tough that her mom died when she was 16, and I think that the gambling storyline was real and there's no other mystery to her at all. And what little hope I had for this show died with that scene.
Can I also add real quick?
Please.
That we've seen Missy and Gus hang out.
Yeah.
We love it. We love
Gussie.
the Musk Bus. And we've seen Missy and Cash hang out.
MASH.
And we've seen V and Cash hang out, which
Vash.
I think is hot and heavy. And I could see some. What we have not seen, and what I think we should see, but we probably won't see, is V and Gus hanging out.
Ooh.
Galeria.
Galleria.
The only way that we can,
you know what, if V and Missy hung out, it would be malaria.
That's true. Malaria. That's true. We haven't seen that either. So I don't think it's fair for us to make any sort of flag in the ground statement here until we see all parties hanging out. As of right now, it's clear as crystal. Gus and Missy,
Gussie,
V and Cash.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a person in the world that Gus won't have chemistry with. Can you imagine Gus and Valeria?
I mean,
oh my gosh, get a room.
You kidding right now?
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think we will. I think we've seen the pairings we will see, but I'd like to see more.
My life feels better, by the way.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for powering through for us, Ryan.
You're
Well,
very welcome. Thank you for being a friend.
another episode of Ride is here and has ridden into the sunset. Another one is coming, and
we're halfway there.
Whoa.
Living on a
We're halfway there. Whoa. We're living on a prayer. We'll be back next week with another one. Until then, remember the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast. Is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.